Star Wars Zero Company dropped a banger of a gameplay trailer during the 2026 Summer Game Fest, and it is packed with goodies from story plots to environments, squad customization to tactical combat. Let's take a look at my top 5 elements of the reveal, starting with story plot, Fathom, and the Coil. The gameplay trailer finally gave us some context into what Zero Company's plot is centered around. Set deep in the midst of the Clone Wars, the Republic now fighting the Separatists using the clone army across the galaxy, an organization called the Coil looks to be up to something sinister, and Fathom, its leader, is at the core of what our protagonist and his crew are set against. And yes, she definitely gives off some serious "we have Gamora at home" vibes. While Fathom's ultimate goal is still shrouded in mystery, she poses a very clear threat, as seen by the Republic's desperate nature to provide a full-on secret squad to discover more about the organization, and the fact we have a dual-wielding Jedi at our disposal. Jedi Council wouldn't necessarily provide a Jedi unless it was deemed a high enough threat to the Republic or their own existence. I'm sure we'll find out more as we approach the release date, but what we can see more of is our campaign, mission, and den logistics. Digging into the frame-by-frame of the trailer, we get a glimpse of how our tactical campaign will be laid out, and there seems to be quite a bit going on at any given time. First, our holotable. This is our galactic overview. It provides a host of information from missions, their difficulty and their rewards, to potential operations, which is an unknown mechanic, to our briefing room with operators, and our current status in credits, intel, and other levels, including our den progression. Missions will take place on 150 different potential planet types throughout the campaign, across the core, mid, and outer rim systems, featuring critical story level objectives where failure means game over, and less critical ones that could net us some serious progression for our squads, including new weapons, items like grenades, and more. Missions are on timers, meaning it will be impossible to hit every single one, providing the classic turn-based tactical experience of having to sacrifice someone, somewhere in the galaxy. The den is where this holotable actually exists, and it's your base of operations throughout the campaign. According to the EA article released with the gameplay trailer, your den is where players will recruit and develop operator skills, upgrade your facilities, purchase new equipment, and select their next missions, again via the holotable. Hopefully we'll get to see more about the den in the future video or a dev post, as I'm very curious what we'll be able to get up to. Our missions and den upgrades lead us directly into one of the best player agency aspects of the game with squad and squad customization. Building and customizing your squad is a central element of Star Wars Zero Company. Your squad can be created from 8 iconic species: human, Twi'lek, Deveronian, Neomoidian, Ovisian, Togruta, Wike, and Zabrak, with many classic roles such as clone troopers, Mandalorians, Jedi Padawans, and more. As much as the community wants to create a clone trooper only build or other potentially amazing squads, it does sound like we'll have some unavoidable story-centric characters that we'll have to use in our campaigns. And to be honest, it may very well be very beneficial to have a diverse squad to tackle some of the more challenging missions. It's also very possible that different species have benefits on the battlefield that require their expertise in order to achieve certain objectives. There's another reason to diversify that we'll discuss in the next section as well, so stick around to find out more. It's the customization of your squads that I know we'll have the best time with. Voices, outfits, appearances, and weapon skins are all in the player's hand to create your own personal squad that you will hopefully get attached to, leading to difficult times ahead should they die. It's even mentioned that specialization in talents can lead to some customization, which I'm very much looking forward to finding out about. The real question is, what kind of Zero Company will you be looking to create when you play? Let me know in the comments section. All of these elements mentioned up to now are leading to what will be my favorite part of Star Wars Zero Company, turn-based tactical battles. The reality of Zero Company is embedded in its turn-based tactical battles, especially in the diverse set of species and roles evident in the announcement and gameplay trailers. I honestly don't know if we've experienced turn-based combat with so many variables like this before, but I'm excited to find out. There are a few key elements, strictly from a gameplay perspective, that I want to tackle for newbies to turn-based tactical gamers and veterans alike. First, the XCOM Classic hit chance percentage is back, meaning we are absolutely going to see some 95% in-your-face blaster shots that miss, and probably coming from our clone troopers, if I had to guess. Second, we're only able to bring in 4 operators into any combat mission. That seems a bit limiting to me, but hopefully the balance is there so the battles don't feel lacking in tactical complexity. I imagine we're going to have certain missions that require story-centric characters, which, as already mentioned, means it's unlikely that our clone trooper only runs are doable, but we'll see what's possible when we get closer to release. Third, it appears that another classic system of action points is back, with our operators able to use 3 action points per turn, which can be spent on moving, attacking, or using other abilities that consume them. There are some super unique species or android specific effects in the trailer and store pane screenshots that leap out to me, which is very exciting. Taking a look at our droid, the impact bomb is an ability that can only be used twice in combat, and the bull rush and fire repeating blaster abilities consume all action points when used, with the latter seemingly having more impact the more AP that is used. This means it'll be ideal for you to set up the shot in one turn, then use all 3 action points in the next turn to apply more rapid fire damage to your enemies. What really has me curious is our Jedi Padawan, which seems to have an advantage mechanic on top of action points, using it to do 4 specific actions like the shockwave we saw in the trailer. It's possible that advantage is a mechanic that all characters can generate as they engage in combat. However, any other screenshots or video snippets do not show that accumulation, so it remains to be determined. Next, the various planets come into play, each with its own battle maps, diverse landscapes, terrain, obstacles, and even weather effects that shape how we'll approach combat. Cover will be essential, but using map drop-off points seems viable as well to push enemies off into other areas. The aforementioned shockwave will knock enemies into other objects, taking further damage, and no doubt will have some form of destructible terrain that we can blow up to remove cover or do more damage. I'm eager to see more maps to really get a glimpse of the range of battles that we're going to experience in the game. And lastly, there's a more abstract element to battles, and that's squad cohesion and team building, to put it in very corporate terms. Referring again to the EA article, on the battlefield, players will develop bonds between authored characters and player-created operators, unlocking new support abilities, including cross-training benefits that improve their own abilities and stats. It seems that this will be equally as important as any other piece of the game, and no doubt will shape who you end up bringing into certain missions, and even further, create a vacuum of loss should any of those operators die in battle. The idea of cross-training between different roles is something I don't believe we've had the chance to do in previous turn-based tactical games, and just what it takes for that cross-training to happen, both at the relationship and competency level, is something I'd really like to explore more deeply if we get the chance. Overall, the amount of content in battles alone with this gameplay trailer is immense, and we're just looking at very short snippets. I can't wait to finally get my hands on it. The final bit of info is very short and sweet, and that is the release date. Star Wars Zero Company is set to release on August 27th, 2026. In just 2 months, we're going to get an actual Star Wars turn-based tactical game, and I could not be more excited. Thank you so much for watching this video on Star Wars Zero Company. I hope you enjoyed the breakdowns, and that you're as eager as I am to get your hands on the game. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below, and don't forget to support the channel by giving the video a like and subscribing for more videos like this in the future. This is Havoc, and I will see you in the next one.